Hey guys, back with another Maplestory video here. This time I'm doing a full breakdown, gear, stats, nodes for paladins, what our hyper stats or hyper skills are set up for. I'm just going to talk about what I think is a right emblem ratio, all these things, the importance of getting stronger for not just paladins, for all classes in general. So stay tuned. I hope this helps. So first off, the most important thing to help get stronger is your nodes. Right, this is kind of my bossing setup. I'm really just using mismatch of nodes that have either divine charge, heaven's hammer in it. At AF 160, which is now the best area to train, the mobs are a little stronger than compared to SF 194. So I got to get these nodes up a little bit just to get to be as effective as possible with killing mobs and leveling up and such and such. So first, now I'm going to talk about hyper skills. Right, this is for paladins, all three threatens, pretty straightforward. And then this is where I wouldn't recommend, but I'm kind of testing out, is one, blast extra strike, a must, main attack. But now I'm using Heaven's Hammer cooldown cutter. And that's because Heaven's Hammer is supposed to be a bossing skill, right? It has 30% boss attack built into it. And it's a fourth job skill, which I assume is something that you want to be using for bossing. But there's just no place for it right now. I'm doing some testing to see if it has value, maybe in certain content like Lotus or Mulong or whatever it is. But right now, having it in the rotation, it's just really a mobbing skill, node farming. If you're not using the Heaven's Hammer cooldown, I highly recommend Final Damage Reinforce for Blast. So this is usually what I go to for maximum damage, but right now I'm testing out Heaven's Hammer cooldown cutter. And I really hope that they eventually rebalance Heaven's Hammer so it has a place in the bossing rotation, because I really want to use it. It's a cool skill. It's supposed to have a purpose, and just spamming blast just seems pretty boring. So hopefully someone sees this that has say, and we'll move on. And so now we're going to talk about nodes. We're going to talk about what I think you should prioritize as a paladin. And so here we are, the main three skills. We'll talk about skill notes, right? Divine Echo, #1 priority. Max it if you want to go hard. But basically, it affects all your skills. It's basically a clone, 1 second increase per level. So that's huge. And in my opinion, the priority over everything else once you got your level 60 blast and final attack. I would do it even before I start leveling Righteous Hammers or anything like that. Huge priority. Helps you, helps the team. And yeah, this is your main damage dealer. When you don't have it up, you basically do poop damage. And then as far as node priority for paladins, we only have two main skills that you need to max, and that's blast and final attack. And the third slot is Heaven's Hammer for me, hoping that it gets rebalanced and has a place and is viable. But either between charge and Heaven's Hammer as that third is really what you want to focus on. And this just allows for you to eventually, get down to 2 nodes eventually, but 3 nodes is all you really need. 3 trios, focusing on those 2 skills maxed. And this is my bossing setup right here. Got the 2 V1 skills, the 2 V2 skills, and then my 3 trios, and then my special nodes, my special node for defense smash 4, and then I use the speed infusion and sharp eyes, and then the third one can either be advanced blessing or hyper body, whatever it is. We don't need decent combat order. So yeah, pretty straightforward for paladins, pretty easy matrix. And next we'll kind of talk about V skill leveling priority. Now this is not a huge priority, but the nice thing about paladins is that we have 3 duration skills. So leveling them is going to help boost your damage a ton, right? Starting with Divine Echo, increasing duration from level 1, 60 seconds, all the way up to 90 seconds on Divine Echo when it's maxed. Weapon Aura, Righteous Hammer are the same way. I talked about prioritizing Divine Echo and sort of leveling up Righteous Hammer and Weapon Aura at the same time. Righteous Hammer is 0.5 seconds every level. So it starts off at 30 seconds and it max can be 45 seconds. And it procs, I think, 2 attacks every second. So every second really matters. going from 30 to 45 seconds is a huge jump in DPS, and same for weapon aura. It's just free final damage. It's also free skill percent. It can go from 60, I think it's from 75 seconds all the way up to 2 minutes. Huge duration buff. And then we're going to get into what everyone wants to know is my stats, my gear. You kind of saw a glimpse right there. My stats aren't that impressive, to be honest. Now that I have 6 set, I've lost, a lot of my EXP skills. So you can see I'm kind of taking off my skills to show it clean right now, show my clean stats. But you can see under 40k physical attack, this is with SS physical damage jewels. My boss attack is pretty high, physical damage above 100, and you can see my crit damage is below 400 right now because I don't have my level 200 skill up. And then hyper stats, ADI is max, party XP max damage. Those are straightforward. Then I'm starting to level final damage. If I were to roll off party XP, I would go physical damage and then final damage, and then physical damage after that. I prioritize ADI for those extra 15% chance because in guild content it's really good. A lot of the times I'm already capping my lines, so the extra final damage, physical damage wouldn't be a huge priority. So I'm going to test out a little bit more. I think swapping it out, the ADI lines, maxing it into final damage and physical damage will help my covert score go up because I don't cap a lot of my lines, but that'll be another video. So here's my stats currently. Yes, the answer is yes to that text. But my stats currently, nothing crazy, right? With my 6 set commander, I lose again, like I said, my Mulung pendant, I lose my EXP pocket. But with that, I gain a lot of percent stats. You can see my boss attack is pretty high because I am, I think 3, but you'll see my emblem ratio. I think I'm about balanced with boss attack and CD, which seems a little strange for paladins who has crit res, but I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But overall, you'll see with EXP jewels, my physical attack will go up, my crit damage percent will go up, and I really think that physical attack after a certain point is pretty overrated. It looks like a nice flex, but definitely if you're missing out on percent stats and just focusing on physical attack, then you're definitely doing it wrong. It's always good to focus on percent stats over physical attack. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at your stats or someone else's and trying to compare. And now I'm just going to switch from PD percent jewels to my EXP jewels. And which one's better? I think it just depends on each person, depends on your flames, depends on your gear. And you can see I'm about 41k physical attack now. I have a little bit more crit damage, but I lost, I think, 8.5% physical damage. So we're going to do more testing. I think my EXP jewels are better, not just for the stats, but for the knockback in content like Lotus and in Arc. That knockback is actually very, very nice. And now, finally, I'm going to show you my gear, what you've probably been waiting for. Starting off with my weapon, level 50. Don't mind those cuts. Straightforward crit damage. You can see with my physical damage jewels, my EXP flames, mythic even, aren't very good. Now, I'm not going to re-roll these. This is what it is. But just keep that in mind. I'm not using my EXP jewels right now, so these stats aren't as impressive as you would think. And I'm also using 6 set commander. So right now I'm using my BA emblem. I re-rolled off a crit damage, and I really like boss attack. As you'll see, I basically have crit damage on my weapon, boss attack on my secondary weapon, so that's 1-to-1. And then you'll see through all my gear, here's my pendant, 6 set, here's all the stats if you want to see it. The 6 set is more than just a max damage cap. It actually gives a lot of final damage, boss attack, things like that, and it all adds up, and I think it's really, really good. It's a must, even though I do lose a lot of physical attack, crit damage when I'm using 6 set compared to if I was using the bossing set, but the cap, the percent stats definitely make it worth it. And so here, just straightforward, nothing crazy. My pots aren't anything special, but just to show you guys what I got. Still missing the Commander one and the Mulong. Obviously, there's the 6 set, the badge, and then these are just fluff from the old bossing set. Nope, switching to Dark Symbol, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, just doing a little quick look. Didn't even notice this. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch it. Yep. And then now my armor. Nothing crazy here. Crit damage, so 2 crit damage, 1 boss attack, final damage soul for Pier to keep that bossing, that Pier set. And then we'll just scroll through it. Everything's to EXP here. As you can see, for armor, 2 EXP is still better, even though I'm in 6 set and don't have a lot of EXP. It's still better than what I previously had. Another boss attack, physical final damage. So kind of scrolling back and forth. I got 2 boss attacks, 2 crit damage, and then my shoulders is boss attack as well. So I'm using the boss attack soul versus EXP. Just feel like boss attack is better. My flames right now, boss attack is better than my EXP one. So keep that in mind. This is with PD % jewels. Just showing you the numbers, the scaling. So something very interesting. Then another boss attack. So I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, just gonna switch this off real quick. Do my dailies. So I have 4 BA emblems, 2 crit damage so far, and really it's just, in my opinion, boss attack just felt better. I previously did have full crit damage, and it just, you would think with threaten and 100% crit rate, crit damage would be better, but just in higher tier bosses, you still don't crit every line, you still don't hit threaten every line, even though people think you should. So just to have more consistent damage, I like the boss attack when those, when threaten doesn't hit, I still do a little bit more damage. It feels more consistent. I did a lot of testing on this. People seem to think, 500% crit damage is the way to go. I think it's good to have a balance. 400, 420, 450 plus is enough. Boss attack was around 140, so that feels really nice, a good spot, clean, and I think it's situational, class related, gear related, right? So that's just my opinion. You can see my emblems, another boss attack. So I'm kind of just scrolling through to show you guys one more time what emblems are boss attack versus crit damage. And I've noticed, I've talked to a lot of people, the top tier of their class, and this just seems to be that crit damage, max crit damage is just nice in theory. In ideal world, right, when you do your damage calculators, you're going to obviously be hitting higher, but with the current max damage cap, with the current skill percentages, how high they are for paladins or for other classes, how they're just going up and up, it just seems like boss attack is the play. Love to hear your thoughts, what works for you, but this is just what I've done with a lot of testing. And here you can see I'm switching to my Fafnir set. This is for covert. You can see I don't have, the final damage is really high, but the crit damage is really low. The cap is just around the same. Physical attack is higher because the Fafnir actually has 22.5 physical attack. The flames aren't as good, however. And this one is also boss attack, so really heavy boss attack for covert. And my Fafnir hat, check out those flames, pretty nice. And so if I switch to EXP, you'll see what my stats are here. Much different. Extra physical damage. The 4 set gives 950 attack for the Fafnir, the Root Abyss. So I'm just showing the numbers for crit damage, just trying to see with the EXP build how they compare. And so now I'm at 41.6 physical attack, higher crit damage percent. So these are my stats. Fafnir, Necro, my opinion on CD percent versus BA percent. Love to hear what you guys think. Love to hear what build you guys are, crit damage, BA, what classes you play, which one you think it feels better. But thanks for watching. Again, if you want to see other sort of content, comment below, and I would love to share with you, help you guys out to get stronger, get better gear, do more damage. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.